How's everybody this morning? Wonderful.
Right.
Excellent. All right. So today we're going to fall on our tails. We're going to talk about our Intouch marketing options, right? So I'm going to try and move over here so that I can see you guys a little better.
Do you want us to have our computer up or does it?
You don't have to. You can if you want. So we're in NRT Gateway. We're going to go into, I'm just going to go into the dashboard. It's nice and big. Hopefully you can see that. All right, so we're going to go to Marketing, and we're going to go to the Marketing Center. Now, interestingly enough, in the Marketing Center, the key thing that you got to understand is that there are multiple areas that you can do marketing out of Intouch. It's not just email. It's email, it's print, and you can create print stuff that gets delivered, or you can create print stuff that you print and use here. Okay? So let's look. We've got the email marketing, the print marketing, and of course then the campaigns. Now, we're going to probably spend a whole session on campaigns because the use of campaigns and setting them up and all that kind of stuff can be pretty intense. But ultimately, you know, the most powerful part of this whole system is
It's the marketing.
and the
Campaign.
campaigns. Because the campaign automatically does stuff.
Mhm.
So you can set up a campaign to automatically do whatever. Like you guys are doing the expired thing, right? And so you have a campaign set up for that. And it reminds you, okay, today I need to call them and mail them a letter. And tomorrow I'm going to mail them a postcard. And the next day I'm going to call them again. And then I'm going to call them again. And then I'm going to call them again and again and again and again until they list or die. But anyway, so we talk about in here, the Marketing Center, and I rarely actually come into it from this standpoint because you kind of know ahead of time whether you want to go in to do a design or you want to go in and do a campaign, right? And so if you hover over this, you'll notice that we can go right into the design library or we can go right into the campaigns.
Right.
Okay? So the Marketing Center is just kind of an overview. You'll notice there's a pricing guide for print. So if we click on that, at the moment it uses Shutterfly, and you can tell you that it runs, so the jumbo postcards, if you're running under 100 of them, it's 40 cents a piece for the UV coated. 80 cents a piece to mail. UV coated. Which is not too bad. What postage is $4,800 or
Or is it 52 cents?
It just went up.
yeah.
Yes, I think it's 52 now.
So
Was
you know, there's that. There's also a lot of interesting in here under the training and support. You really have to look at. There's a lot of utilizing the webinars and those sorts of things. And then these are cover flyers that you can print, trifolds, greeting cards, guides, all this kind of stuff. Well, that's Canada. We're not good. All right. You can also go through and look at your order history. You can do an image manager, so you can make sure that you have the images that you want up there. You can get rid of images that you don't need to be in there anymore. You can save projects, you can import project, contacts. But again, these are things that are kind of tying back. They're using this Marketing Center page to kind of tie all of the other pieces together that we've talked about, like the contacts and all that sort of thing. So it's just quick links to different sections that we've already done. So let's jump right into where I like to go up here to the design library. Because the design library gives you the opportunity to search not just email stuff, but print stuff as well. And so you might find that, oh, well, I really like the graphic in this, and I want to utilize that. Or I really like the graphic in that, and I really want to use that, and that sort of thing. So kind of the best way to do it is to go over here and you can look, so what type of material do you want to look for? Let's say we want to do a flyer, okay? So we click a flyer. Because I'm pro, I'm going to have more options than those of you that are not pro. Are you pro yet? Or so when you click on flyers, how many show up? Does it tell you number in the top left?
160.
107.
107. So I got 165. So in just the flyers templates, we got an extra 50 some odd
Yeah.
options, which, you know, again, that's not the main reason, to be honest. That's not the reason to upgrade to Pro, I don't think. You know, I think the reasons to upgrade to Pro are to get your custom domain, to upgrade to Pro to get the Market Insider stuff on your website, which is phenomenal, to get the ability to completely customize campaigns. Those three things are kind of the reason that I think it's worth it. But needless to say, you do get some more things. So obviously we have all the different collections. We can click down here on collections and we can pick through the whatever different ones that you want, whether it's previews or property marketing, recruiting material for me, seasonal, seller marketing, specialty markets, greetings and announcements, events and announcements, to build and upload your own. So let's say we want to do a property marketing. So we do property marketing. I have 66 different ones.
And I have 28.
And so there's all these different property marketing ones, and you can pick, you know, like we're kind of coming out of the spring, but you got the flowers, you know, it's something to catch the attention. It's something, it's professionally designed, it looks nice, it's pretty, and it's super easy to use. Let's pick one. Let's say, oh, I don't know, let's pick, let's see what is the marketing CV. That's the 28. That may be the 28 you have.
Yeah, I have those. I don't have anything that's seasonal or.
Marketing Pro. These are the 44 that are.
Yeah, I don't have any that are that pretty.
So let's say I do the floral orchids. All right, let's just pick the orchids. I like the orchids. All right, so now, think I have a listing in here. What's the address for your listing?
The address is 1230.
North Brookhaven Park Place.
Correct.
See now, because I'm the broker, I have access to all of them. I make up flyers for anything.
Well, go ahead and make me a flyer because I only have one sitting.
So I'm gonna click this, and then I'm gonna, and you notice all I did was start typing the address. I don't have to remember the FMLS number or anything like that, and it'll start pulling it up. And then I just hit personalize, and so then it's gonna click up, and here's gonna come the box. Now it automatically selected pictures to put in. It put in the pictures that it chose to put in. I can click on this picture and I can change the picture. I'm just moving down too much. But I can go. Oops, I want to change the picture. And so down here underneath the picture, you'll notice there's a replace, a crop, and a delete, which would just delete the whole box. Okay, so I'm going to replace this picture, and I'm going to go to the MLS images. And you'll notice that all the pictures that you uploaded in MLS, all, whatever, 10 of them, although there seem to be more than 10 of them, are all here. And so I can pick any of these pictures. And so, for instance, because I'm doing a nice outdoor shot, I might choose to say, all right, let's put that picture in, because I'm really touting the outdoorness of it, okay? Here's a piece as we talk about it, and this is why you asked me, is this going to be the same? No, none of my classes are ever the same as anyone else's. I think in marketing real estate, we fall into the, let's put a picture of the front of the house. Let's put a picture of the kitchen. Let's put a picture, you know, like there's this order that has been dictated from wherever, that this is what we're supposed to do. But for instance, I mean, we're using a beautiful, non-really, you know, very floral, spring, outdoorsy, you know, type piece.
I like that too.
So why not use a main picture that represents that? Now, the interesting thing is you'll notice that this picture does not take up the whole box. But I also noticed in this picture, and this is me being extremely picky, no offense, you notice this wall corner piece right there? That just, when you print this out, that's going to look like you put something on it or whatever. It's going to look wrong.
Well, pick the other one. There's another one I don't get.
I don't have to pick the other one. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here and crop it.
Oh, I see. Oh, okay.
And so I'm going to take this box and I'm going to make it more
Jesus, that's cool.
like that. And now it takes up the whole box. It's not, and so it's a fuller picture, and it gives you that sense of the exterior, right? Now it pulled in all of the information from the listing. It pulled in the list price. It pulled in the beds and baths and year built,
Can you
square
put TJ's
footage,
picture there?
and all that kind of stuff. And then, of course, because I'm logged in as me, what did it do?
Oh,
It put my picture and my information on there, right? And this is all that stuff that we set up in the admin. And so it took, 2 seconds. I'm going to go into this one. I'm going to change this picture because it's a vertical, and we don't like vertical pictures. So what I'm going to do, actually, I think, is pick the main front picture and then go in and crop it and try to crop it in such a way that it makes it a little less. Let's see if I can crop it so that it looks, I get the sense of it. So see that took a vertical picture and made it into a viable horizontal space so that it balances. And I'm going to go into every one of these. I think actually I'm probably going to replace all of them because I don't necessarily like the ones that it picks often. So like I want to do a nice kitchen shop. All right. And then I'm going to do the crop to make sure that it crops where I want it to crop. And I'm going to zoom out a little bit. And then I'll get done. Now, do you notice it didn't change the picture? Every now and then the system glitches and you go to crop something and it doesn't crop. Okay? So just go on to the next picture and then come back to it in a second and try it again. And 9 times out of 10, it'll do it the second time. So let's say, what do we want to do for another picture? Let's stick with our outdoor theme. We'll put a picture of the pool. Now, let's go back to this one, crop this one. There we go, work that. And I think a lot of times if you try and do it all in one step is when it gets angry. There we go. And then we just hit save. For orchids, for, what is this, Brookhaven?
Park Place.
Hit save. And then hit OK. Now, that's in there. Done. Now, the other interesting thing about this is I can go in and change any text piece that's on there. So right now it says just listed, right? What if I wanted to use this flyer to advertise an open house this weekend to all the neighbors? So I was going to go door to door and give this flyer to every neighbor in the complex.
They came.
They came. They all came.
They all came, yes.
He had just had an open house. So I can click right here on this box and click in there and change it from just listed to open house
For sale.
Sunday 2 to 4. Now, I changed the color of the text or whatever, but I can go in and modify that to whatever color I want it to be. I can change the font size. I can change the font family.
How many years is it gonna take us to learn how to do this?
It shouldn't take you that long at all. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make sure all this green is the same green. And kind of the best way to do that is to pick it separately.
And it's very, I mean, what you're doing is very similar to other things. that
It's
I've done.
very, right, it's very similar
Photo
to,
editor doesn't do the font obviously, but it's the same process. So once
Right.
you get used to it, you'd be surprised how many other things you can do.
Cool.
Because this is just, I'm making a book for my mom and it's the same.
it's a
process.
similar process, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a basic process of using most anything. You know, you can edit the font, you can edit the font size, you can edit bold or not, or underline or
I want
color.
to change it, click on it and see.
You
here's
know,
your box.
and most everything, yeah,
Here's
if
your
you
box,
click
you can
on it,
edit it.
it'll let you edit it. And so you can go in and do whatever you want with it. Now, some designs, this particular one seems to have fallen out very perfectly. Let's zoom out so we can kind of see the whole thing a little bit. And you'll see that it's you know, a very nice piece. Now, here's the trick. We're going to save this, and we just overwrote that one, which is fine. Or we could change its name if we wanted to save one that wasn't. And we close out of this. We want to print this in-house here. Now you'll notice the preview now looks like the piece that I just made instead of before. The preview was just a generic orchid,
Right.
right? So now I'm going to say download. Here it comes. Now I can open it up. I got it as a PDF.
Cool.
Now it glitched a little bit. All right, here's another tip. Sometimes the font size glitches when you go to do the final piece. And so one of the best, what you have to do is we'll go back in and we'll go back and edit. And see now that preview, it looks bad.
Yeah.
It didn't before, right?
Right.
So we're going to go back in and edit it, and we're going to go in and we're going to make sure that our font size, well, first of all, we could just raise the box up a little bit because it doesn't need to be that low. And we can make it a little wider, which will make it work a lot better. I'm going to put a little space in there. And then I'm going to go in and tell it to make sure that it really is 9.9.9 point. And that way it'll, this is, I'm going to save it again. Okay, X out of here. Now download again. Now my preview again looks better. And now it looks right. And you notice it looks the same as it did.
Yeah.
For some reason, every now and then, if you don't affect the text size, it
So you need to pay
changes
attention
it. So you want to pay attention.
when it comes up.
My recommendation, just me being me, is before I would order these through them, I would download the PDF to make sure the PDF looks exactly like I want it to, and print it out and hold it in my hand, because that's going to give you a different level of proofing than just looking at it on the screen. And it's going to make sure that nothing glitches. Because sometimes the other thing that happens is the pictures will glitch.
Yeah.
So like the picture will revert back to the uncropped version instead of the cropped version. So you just want to make sure once you download that PDF that it is.
Well,
what
if
it
I
is.
can print it here, why would I have them print?
Well, and so for something like this that you're going to go door to door and hand out, I wouldn't.
Oh, okay, I got you.
If it was me, I wouldn't.
Gotcha.
I would just print it from here and move on. If, however, I was going to, I don't know, have some high-end flyers at a, you know, I wanted UV coated, pretty thick,
Okay.
you know, then yes, I'd order them from there. You know, it's like postcards. So if I'm going to do just listed as solds, you know, it depends. Am I going to do them here or am I going to do them there? Well, I can print them here and just mail them to my database. If I'm going to kind of do shotgun approach where I'm just going to mail them to a radius of whatever, you know, the area is, then I might use the system, because that way I don't have to take the time to go in and try and find the addresses or figure out where I want them to mail. I just want to do, you know, 100 nearest houses to the house, you know, and so there's something to be said for, you know, paying for your time. And then, you know, you can go down and address, you know, change these sorts of things, fill this in, do, you know, kind of whatever you want to do. But I think that turned out pretty nice. I mean, and that took us what?
10 minutes,
10 minutes?
maybe.
and that's because we were messing around, talking about it, doing whatever.
Yeah.
You can do a flyer in this system in 5 minutes. Now, sometimes the hardest part is picking
Yeah.
the template you want to
Yeah,
use.
yeah.
You know, like there's so many templates to pick from that you have trouble deciding on what template to pick. So what I would say is let's go back. And if you want to order these, all you do is click here, add to cart, and go through the order process. I'm not going to bother going through that. That's pretty straightforward. So let's go back to our design center, design library. Now, interesting, if I go, and hold on here, if I go to My Saved Designs, you will see my saved design flyers that I have in here, including postcards, announcement cards, Happy Easters, Happy Memorial Day. You guys all got this one, you know, and they're all in here. So I can go back in and
Tweak them for next time.
pick this, use the same, like
Yeah.
if I have customized it, the property flyer, you know, I know a lot of people like, I always want my property flyer to look exactly the same. I have this design, this is the way it is. Okay, great. So go in, tweak it, create it the way you want it to create it, and then pop it into the next one. I helped an agent do a 3-up just listed card. That, you know, she was always going to have 3 properties on her just listeds because that was kind of how frequency of listings. And so once that design was created in here, it's just a matter of going and replacing images and doing that sort of thing.
Are there any in here that, I know a lot of the open houses I've done, they have flyers that are like, I guess it's legal size, it's called the open.
A 4-page.
4-sided. Do you have to pick 4 different designs in here, or are there designs that are
Let's go
4-sided?
back to the design library for a second. Now, actually, before we do that, let me show you something, because this is
Okay.
another thing to know. So we just did this orchid thing, right? So I click back on it, and I can get back into it, and it's tied to this listing, and I can hit edit, and I click on this picture, replace the picture, and you notice the MLS button is gone, okay? You can only use the pictures out of MLS when you initially design the flyer, okay? So don't save it and think you're gonna come back later. Get the photos like you want them before you save it and exit out. Because once you exit out of that flyer or postcard or whatever, you can't pull the pictures from MLS anymore, okay? So it's just one of those things to know. Now, I can still go down here under my pictures, all the pictures that I've uploaded, and it will include, you know, some pictures of things that I've cropped or not cropped or whatever. So the cropped images, these are all ones, once you crop an image from MLS or anywhere else, it's going to take that image, take the cropped version of it, and save it into your images. And so they're all in here under cropped images. So like this one, remember?
Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, that's, and so let's replace it with that and see what it looks like. And you notice, I think, that it, you know, it looks all right. It doesn't quite tie in that outdoor feel.
Right.
And, you know, you might change your verbiage in here to really focus on, you know, see right away, 40-acre park. So it's all drawing that together. And that's part of our marketing. That's part of what we do as agents, is tie all that marketing together so that we're generating a feel. We're selling a lifestyle of this is what it would be like to be in your home, this home. Type of things. All right, so let's exit out of there. We won't save. Leave it the way it was, and let's go back to our design library. All right, so if we look under flyers, from my understanding, there's not a way to search by size, unfortunately. But if you look underneath these, it'll say, you know, 8.5 by 11. I do not believe that there are any 4-up ones in here at the moment.
Okay.
I know we've talked with marketing about that and having some. I would imagine that if and when we do end up going over to Express Docs instead of Shutterfly, that we will, because, you know, they do those, that we'll come over and do that. You know, so it'll be nice when and if that happens because it'll all kind of blow together. But I haven't seen any that I know of that are that size. Now, the interesting thing is there are, under Pro, there are the upload your own flyer, basically.
Mhm.
And so you can see, so this one is double-sided. This one is just single-sided. This one's double-sided. This one's landscape, just single-sided. And so when you do that, you basically are just, if you had someone design it, used Fiverr or whatever, and created a piece that you got approved, you could upload it to this to have it printed. You can do the same thing in Express Docs too, actually. And so, you know, I mean, that's kind of the, now I will tell you, under postcards, we ran into kind of the same situation, you know, because we like to do the big jumbo jumbos, not just the regular jumbos.
They don't have any that big.
And they do, actually. They didn't initially, but they added some, and I'm trying to find one because I want to show you that there is a little bit of a trick to those. All of these postcards are designed to be, so here's the 11 by 5.5, as opposed to the 8.5 by 5.5. And so that's that size. Let me find one that actually is a design, though. I know they have some in here.
See, I don't see that size on mine.
And because you're not Pro, you might not. I don't think you have to upload your own, do you?
No.
Right.
No.
That's a Pro thing.
Yeah, the biggest they have on here is 8.5 by 5.5.
Right.
Oh, there's one. Found one.
What's it called?
Spring forward.
All right. So
Daylight
here's a
savings
good example to
time.
show you how to find. So keywords and title things. So I want to do something related to the spring. I put in the keyword spring, and now all the things that are spring come in. Here we go. Spring forward daylight savings. It's 11 by 5.5. So I can click on that, and I can personalize it. What I'm going to show you is, so when we're in a postcard, you'll notice there's a front and there's a back.
Yeah.
Now, because all of these postcards are designed to be mailed in regular mail, not using Every Door Direct, they put in these block out areas where you can't put anything.
Yeah.
So I can't take this. Maybe I can take that and put it over there. No. In the past, they wouldn't let us put stuff over there. So let's try and put
So
something
maybe
over
we
there.
could put Every Door Direct thing in there.
Let's take that and put it over there. And let's just see what happens. We're going to save it. And now postcards are the same way for us if we're going to print them here. When we exit out of here, we're going to do the same thing. Instead of mailing them, you know, adding in the cart and doing it down here, we can do the download PDF. And it should download the PDF. And then we can open the PDF. And so now that's page 1, and that's page 2. Look at that, it did.
So can you?
So we can just ignore the,
Can you insert?
hey, we learned
something in
something new.
Could you put
Yes,
something that's
I can
already
put
there?
whatever you want.
So
Yeah.
I could put the Every Door Direct
Correct.
decal or whatever.
And
you
in
want.
fact, actually, I'll go back and show you.
Okay.
I actually have, and there's a block in this corner here, and I go to replace the picture, and I go to My Pictures. I think I have it at one point. No, maybe I don't anymore. No, I don't anymore. I had at one point
Okay, but it's
uploaded
doing
that
it. Okay,
that image,
that's great.
and so you can just drop that in there in that corner if you want.
Right.
You know, so yeah, you can just ignore this these areas and the no content areas and just put stuff there. And when you download it as a
Awesome.
PDF,
It wasn't
it's
like the
there.
first time we looked at it.
no, it wasn't.
Okay,
So
that's
that's
great.
a good improvement.
That's great.
And that's why it's important that you're always playing with these systems. You know, you got to be in there and trying things. I'm glad that we're doing it because we learned
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
We can do the Every Door Directs in here and just download them as a PDF and then send them to marketing, and marketing will drop them 3 up on a big, you know, 11 by 17 and print them. Just send. All right. And so that's nice because you can use a lot of this, you know, I mean, this is a nice piece. It's pretty. It's attention grab. It's professionally designed. And we don't have to do it if we can use these.
And they have a couple on here that I like about why they should choose, because I'm still trying to get listings. I have one I've been working on since January. It's killing me. But anyway, there's one here, why choose me, and it has the different characteristics. One says perseverance, one says professionalism, one says knowledge, integrity. And I like the ABC one.
Here's a good one. Call me. I'm prepared to get to work for you.
I
You should
like
work-
that because it's very direct.
You should look for a realtor. What should you
Nope.
look for in a realtor?
Did you search for that, or did
I just searched for why
Oh,
because you said something about why.
yeah.
You know, I mean, and it's this is a cool thing. So I mean, I just searched for why. There's 41 different cards that talk about the why. This is a good series that you should use
Well,
with
that
the
was
little
on
ABCs.
mine.
So just so you know,
That was where?
this is a postcard. And so this
Yeah,
is the
this is
why
the one I
choose me
like.
knowledge
That's the one I
series. What should you look for in a realtor? And it's got the apples and the ABC, and it talks about knowledge, and it's got all of it there. And then you look at the back, and it just talks. You know, it's got the little blank. You know, the back is pretty nondescript except for your contact information. But since this is a smaller size postcard, you know, you're probably going to mail it, so you want to leave the spaces blank that you need to leave blank. But you can also put the bulk mail piece in there. I've done that. You know, and just print them off.
How did you
With
get to the
PDF.
back? That seems like a stupid question.
On the right side here under elements, it's actually not a stupid question. It says postcard back or postcard front, and you just use the little arrows next
Mine
to it.
doesn't have elements.
So is there a little double arrow to the right? Look on the screen up here for a second. Oh, you're not editing. You got to.
Oh, that's why.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Sorry. So you got to go to edit and be able to do that. All right. So that's pretty much the basics of how to use from a print standpoint. We haven't looked at any emails. So let's go to whys in emails. Now you notice I left my why as a search criteria, and I went to emails, and there are now 26 results that are email pieces that I can create. And so I can go global is the difference, knowledge is the difference. Those are all previews ones. 10 days of pain. The what you should look for in a realtor. This whole series. Here it is again. Look at this is that same series, the teacher template looking thing. And so let's show you how this looks. I
So
want to
on these
personalize
flyers-
this.
Oh, these are emails. Okay. Never
So
mind.
this is an email.
Okay.
Okay, and so the email, you'll notice, let's go back, there's not a download PDF button.
Right.
Okay, because this is not designed to be printed. Now it's a companion piece art-wise, artistically, to the other pieces, and there are postcards and there are, you know, other things
Right.
that tie to it, but this is the composed email. So we want to personalize it. And there we go. And so you notice it can do that, it can do whatever. Now, say you wanted to modify this and say something different there. You just click in it, type extra. Say you wanted to use some of the space down here to insert a little bit more text. You can click and drag this little text box and put it down there where you want it. And type whatever you want. And then drag it out, make it bigger, bolder, change the font, change the color, change the background color, make it much bigger. However you want. And that happens to be hideous, but it is viable. So then we can just say save. It's going to choose a save. Hit OK. Exit out. And then compose the email. Now, when I compose the email, who can I send this to?
People that you are trying to attract as clients.
Okay, but where do they have to be for me to be able to send
In
it to
my
them?
database.
They got to be entered in as contacts.
Yeah.
Okay, remember, this is a customer-client relationship management tool.
Mhm.
If they're not a contact in your system, you can't email them. Okay, if you have an email address for somebody, put them in as a contact.
Okay.
Now, one of the most important things that I think you should do is every contact in your system should be in a group of some kind. Okay? And we've talked about that extensively, but I will tell you, with Lead Router tying into this system and dropping people in, when you have people that kind of go dead on your Lead Router
Yeah.
and you trash them, if you email everyone in your system, so if I go in here and hit 2, and I don't have any kind of search, okay, so if I do add all eligible, anybody that was green, was trashed out, is going to
Still
get an
gonna be-
email,
Okay.
and guess what the system's going to do?
What?
Because you chose to email them, they assume that you want to reactivate that person. So all those people that you deactivated and put in the trash, you got them all reactivated again.
So how do you avoid that?
So you avoid that by making sure that you have a group of
Dead people.
active EVs or whatever. No, a group of the people that are active. And then,
Well, when you delete somebody out of that active group, isn't the same thing still gonna happen? if you
no,
just-
because when you email just to that active
Oh,
group,
okay, gotcha, yeah.
you're going to
Okay.
get, so if I click in here
I
and
got
I
you.
say my groups and I only want to do old contacts, I don't know if that actually has anybody in it. Yep, so that's 16 people. So those are people that are going to get the email if I did that. I don't want to send it. None of those people can get it. I can do the Dental office. I can do multiple groups. Okay? And then I can also pick just individual people. I can say I want to pick, and it's in alphabetical order by first name. So I'm going to send one to Kate. And I'm going to save and continue. And I'm going to add a subject. Here's an important part.
Something will make them look at the email.
I have to make it openable, right?
Yeah.
I have to make it, because here's the thing. This is an image right here. So in their preview, they're not going to see anything.
Yeah.
So we got to say something.
What would you say there?
So let's look at the email.
Pick me.
The emails. So it says, I have the expertise necessary to help you set the right selling price, locate qualified prospective buyers, shorten the amount of time, negotiate, correctly complete, and refer you to a network of professional associates, including home inspectors, mortgage lenders, and appraisers. So that's 6 items, right?
Right.
So you might say something like, do you know the top 6 knowledge items your realtor should know? How about that? Now, that might work on some, it might not work on some.
Yeah.
So you got to kind of play around with it. I mean, subjects, lines, and email marketing are one of the biggest pieces that people overlook and just don't do right.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it from your perspective. Would you open that email?
Only if
Now-
I was looking for a real estate agent.
Only if you're
Right.
thinking about looking for a real estate agent, right? And so to some extent, those are the people you're targeting. And so some things you're going to send are going to be really targeted towards the people that are actually looking to buy or sell, or they've just had a conversation, maybe their daughter or maybe their brother or whoever is, they were just having a conversation about, I really need to sell my house and da. Oh, I just got this thing about, do you know the 6 top things, I don't even remember what I said, top knowledge items your realtor should know. Huh, that's interesting. Oh yeah, that's a cool email. I'm gonna forward it to my buddy. Okay? That's the goal, is to be able to accomplish that. Then, the other trick is you can click right here and type some more text.
Oh,
Okay? I recommend you type a little something there.
Why?
Because it
Personalize
doesn't have, you can, well, it's not going to personalize it necessarily because I'm only sending it to you in this case, in which case, yes, I would personalize it.
Right.
But if I'm going to send it to 150 people all in my database, I don't want to type something specific about. Now, if, however, I'm sending it to a group of ex-teachers, for instance,
mhm.
or I'm sending it to a group of my ex-students or whatever, and I chose this one because it's very teacher-related,
Yeah.
I might make a little blurb up that kind of ties it together and say something, you know, I thought of you, and here's the trick. Write it in first person, one-to-one speak, not
Not to the group.
you all,
Right,
you
right,
know,
right.
because this is going to go one email to one email,
Yeah.
no matter if you send it to one person or 100,000 people.
Right.
Okay, 100,000 might be a stretch. But you write it as if you're writing to each person individually and just don't use anybody's name, okay? And that makes it more personal. So then you write in that special thing, you get the rest of it, it's all in there. You can include your social media links down at the bottom. Why would you want to do that?
Because they're gonna wanna investigate you.
Right. So especially if it's people that are not necessarily your best friends, you want to give them the opportunity, every opportunity you can, to research you.
Yeah.
And why go through the hassle of having to go on Facebook and search for Kate Butler Plum when I can just have the link right here to Facebook and it's going to go right there.
Okay.
Okay? Here's the other piece. If you have listings, why not include showcase properties?
Cool.
What does including showcase properties in your email tag do? What's it
Well,
similar to?
Well, it gets them looking at houses. So if somebody's on the
It
fence-
reminds them that no matter what the message is, right? If
Yeah.
we're doing a spring forward or whatever email, which, you know, has its merits, it reminds them, hey, by the way, don't forget, this is what I do,
Yeah.
sell houses.
Mhm.
And it shows what your current inventory is.
Mhm.
And so when you go into a listing presentation and say, you know, I send out somewhere around 20,000 marketing pieces a month, and at the bottom of every one of them, I showcase my properties. Now, interestingly enough, there's only space for 3. I just sold one of them, and so I have one more space available. If you sign up with me today, I'll make sure you're that showcase property. Now, do you remember when we were doing our admin setup and everything, how you manipulate which ones are showcase properties and which ones aren't? Because you might have 20 listings and only have 3 of them be showcase properties. I mean, if you listed, you know, 15 lots and 5 $1 million houses, which ones do you want to be showcased?
Yeah.
Right? So, you know, you can say that. And so we can do that. We can attach a file if we want. If we were sending out something, a schedule, the baseball schedule or the gardening club schedule or the alumni association schedule or whatever.
You could also, because for me, I'm working on a listing.
Mhm.
It's still process. But I've sold as a buyer represent. I've sold as a selling agent. So I could come up with a flyer that says houses that I've sold in
Yeah.
the last 6 months or
Absolutely.
recent sales,
Absolutely.
and have pictures of those houses, and then they know that I haven't been doing
Correct. And so this is good to
I
go.
don't
Everything's
like
in here. You can schedule, you can click on the delivery. Because I'm pro, this is another feature. As a basic user, you can only send now. Yeah, I can send it right now.
Mhm.
But as a pro user, I can say, okay, I know that the whatever is coming up this weekend, the super duper car show, and so I'm going to send out a thing about the car show
Right.
on Thursday, or I'm going to send one today, I'm going to send one Wednesday and one Friday, and I'm going to tie everybody and remind everybody here's what the deal with the car show and how you need to come. And so I say I'm going to send this one on Wednesday. I can hit schedule, and now it's, after it finishes loading, it is now scheduled to be sent, and I'm back to the marketing center. Now, Kate will not get that email
Until Wednesday.
till Wednesday. And then she'll remember, oh, yeah, I was in class on Monday, because she'll probably think to herself, what is this? Because we did kind of make it a little fun. So it's so easy to use. It's so intuitive and so fast that once you've done everything that we've talked about in these last several sessions, it's just like this.
So we need to, the one thing I haven't done, I have things that are in it, people that are in Intouch, but then I have a separate spreadsheet for people like parents of my daughters. I have a couple that, several actually, 5 or 6 that are saying they're going to want to move, and so they're on my. So I need to put them in there. Okay.
This is your one place for every possible contact you could ever imagine.
Okay.
And the key on how you divide them, and we'll go back and review real quickly, is the groups.
And I haven't grouped any.
So if we go to manage groups, here are the groups that I have. I have the Dunwoody office with 98 contacts, because to be honest, what I use this for right now more than anything is sending out my weekly newsletter, which you all get. Now, you want to know how many people opened it?
Now,
All right, so here's my regular reminders, and there's my correction. Let's look and see how many people looked at the correction. Only 45% of the people I sent it to. So 45% out of the 97 people I sent it to opened that.
Now, do you have access to those stats if you're on basic and not on pro? Because
I think so.
Pippin said the reason he went to pro is because of the stats that you get.
Now, you get web stats in pro that are much different, but I think you get the viewed email stats even on basic.
Okay.
Not 100% on that. But interestingly enough, what you have to take into consideration is this is not 100% accurate, okay? Because the way they track it is with an image that opens. And if you've got it set so the images don't open when you open your email, then it doesn't show that you read the email, okay? Which is why, for instance, on my weekly reminders that I did, you notice I put this little guy. You know why I put that little guy?
So you know who opened it.
Because people, most of the time, if there's a thing that has an image that says, you know, do you want to show the images, they'll say show the images. If I don't have that there, they won't show the images. And so it just makes it a little more accurate. Plus, it makes it a little more fun.
Yeah.
Right? Now, one of the things about the email editor, just a reminder, it does time out relatively quickly. So like with my weekly reminders that take me a while to write, I like to write it in Word and then copy and paste it in. Okay. And that's just because it takes, there are oftentimes I'll write part of it,
Get interrupted.
have to go do something else, and then come back and write it some more, and then once I get it all done, I copy and paste it in. So, any other questions about Marketing Center and kind of the basics of that? So really the only other thing we have to cover, because I think we kind of covered that pretty well, is the campaigns themselves and kind of setting up campaigns and managing campaigns. And so we'll do that next week. Is that good with everybody? Cool. All right. We'll see you all next week. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.